Hello everyone, you join me inside the new 2018 Mazda CX-5. Now the CX-5 has been somewhat of a runaway success for Mazda. They've sold a lot in Australia ever since its debut in 2012. The CX-5 was the first model to debut the new Kodo design language, and ever since then all the models have been updated and they all look pretty good. Now in its second generation, let's see if it can still drive as well as the first. Now, main competitors for the CX-5 include the Honda CR-V and the Toyota RAV4, and Mazda also hopes that with a more upmarket feel, it can compete with entry-level luxury SUVs such as the Audi Q3, the BMW X3, and the Lexus NX, and also the Mercedes GLC. There are 5 variants to choose from. There's the base level Max, Max Sport, Touring, Grand Touring, and the top of the range Akira. Now the Akira and the Grand Touring visually are identical. You can't really tell them apart from the outside. Essentially, the Akira just has all of the advanced safety kit, such as radar guided cruise control, lane keep assist, and lane departure warning. It's a bit of a shame that they reserve those features only for the top of the range Akira, but credit where credit's due, Mazda was the first mainstream car manufacturer to have autonomous emergency braking standard on all trim levels. This is also the 2.2 litre diesel. There are 3 engine options available for Australia. There's a 2 litre petrol, which I did drive, but I didn't manage to catch on camera, but that thing was gutless. It was so slow. The 2.5 litre petrol, I presume, is a lot better. We're in the 2.2 diesel, which has 121 kilowatts of power, I'm pretty sure. Correct myself if I'm wrong, and 420 newton meters of torque. And that's matched to a 6-speed automatic transmission and sending power to all 4 wheels when needed. The heads-up display is standard on the Touring and above, but the Touring model has that kind of plexiglass thing that rises up. With the GT and the Akira, you get the proper projector-style screen, and it does look very nice. It's clear, and it's also quite large, and it's a color screen as well. The Akira also has a side view camera, so it's mounted just under the passenger side rear view mirror, and it should help out with curbside parking. Test. Let's see how well it goes up a hill. But there's very decent low end punch, especially because of the diesel engine. So between 2000 RPM, you can almost immediately feel all the 420 newton meters of torque pulling you along. You can also manually shift the gears with a Tiptronic shift gate, push to the right, and you can go cycle down and up gears. However, there are no paddle shifters. Now, demonstrate the lane departure warning. If you just sway past the lane, let's see what happens. So, you can see the car did that, pulled the steering wheel to the left, and it also rumbled it to get the driver's attention. So keep in mind these are driver assist systems. I want to make that very clear, so don't rely on them all the time. Now there is the trademark diesel clatter, of course, when you accelerate. It's not that bad, it's not too intrusive. In fact, I've driven cars which are much more expensive, which had noisier diesel engines. So if you want, if you do a lot of kilometers and you do a lot of highway driving, then this probably will be the engine for you. If you can stick the extra asking price, because the diesel is at least a few $1,000s more expensive than the petrol. So let's get it on some twistier roads and we can see how it handles. It says 30, but we'll do 50. Right. So you can place the car quite well. The steering is relatively direct, but it still stays really light. I wonder if we can firm it up.
What I forgot to mention was just how quiet the cabin was. Mazda engineers went to great lengths to ensure the CX-5 had greater NVH than its predecessor. This includes all the obvious, such as additional seals on all doors, a felt liner cover underneath the vehicle to absorb road noise, acoustic glass on the front windows, and detailed work such as tighter panel gaps and moving windshield wipers below the hood line for smoother airflow around the windshield. The design is handsome, with more prominent chiseled creases and styling cues, which gives the impression of an elongated hood. Annoyingly, Mazda still thinks steel wheels are acceptable, needing you to move up to the Max Sport before alloys are standard. Our top-of-the-range Akira has 19-inch alloys, which I think complements the car very well. Happily, all metallic paint colors are standard, apart from Mazda's signature Soul Red Crystal paint, a steal at only $300. The quality of the interior is a giant step up from the previous model. So now there's leather stitching all the way across, soft touch materials pretty much all along through the dash, these nice 3D design elements for the air vent, some nice wood looking trim, and also the new Mazda steering wheel with leather bound, with controls for the radar guided cruise control and media controls. On the driver's instrument display, it's nice to see a centrally mounted large speedometer, although Mazda's a little bit slow to adopt digital speedos. So of course on our model we get the heads-up display, but if you get the two entry-level models, which I presume were part of the best sellers, you only be stuck with the dials. There is a little screen on the right, which, let's start the car because it's actually very warm today. And at the moment it's showing the status of the lane departure warning and also the forward collision system. In the center, we've seen this for a while now. It's the controller for the Mazda infotainment system. It does look very premium and it feels nice to use, especially with these knurled edges. A separate volume knob, which is always very handy. Electronic parking brake with auto hold. The system is fairly easy to use and the screen is bright. It's actually optically bonded now in this model, so it should be easier to view in daylight. But Mazda stubbornly still refused to offer Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Two cup holders. Also a little storage tray in front of the gear selector with a 12-volt power outlet. Also be nice to see a USB port as well. The two USB ports are located for the front passengers in the driver's armrest, where there's also an SD card, I presume for navigation, an auxiliary port, and a 12-volt power outlet. There's also a little handy tray. Two cup holders, and a decently sized glove box, which is also lined with felt, so it's nice and soft, and your bits won't rattle about. A sunroof on GT models and above, and it's nice to see they haven't forgot the basics such as a sunglasses holder. Illuminated vanity mirrors. And also to the right of the driver, there's all the controls for iStop and all the safety systems, along with the side view camera and the electronic tailgate. So let's have a look at the rear seats. Hopping into the back, it's nice to see that the materials, soft materials, come through to the rear seats as well. Same with the nice wood finishing.
one-touch automatic power windows, bottle holders, and finally 2 rear air vents. All models, bar the most entry-level Max, get the folding center armrest with 2 cup holders, a little tray for your phone, and also a little storage cubby with 2 USB ports. And they're also the fast charging 2.1 amps. Very nice. The rear seats themselves are very comfortable. They offer decent support, although thigh support is a little bit lacking if you're a tall person like me. Headroom is okay. I've got around 2.5 centimeters left of headroom. My hair isn't brushing the headliner just yet. I have noticed though that the rear seat belt puts quite a bit of force on your shoulder, so it might not be the most comfortable on longer journeys. Headrests are adjustable, and happily the center seat belt comes out from the seat itself, and not from one of those ceiling fixtures. The middle seat can also be folded manually, so if you need to carry ski equipment while also carrying 4 passengers, that's not a problem. And the rear windows are relatively large, so everyone gets a good view out.
An electric tailgate is standard on GT spec and above, and opens to a cargo area measuring 442 litres. This is about average in the class, with RAV4 and CR-V both winning on space. There are handy pull-out levers to lower the seats, and underneath you'll find a spare tyre. A 12-volt power outlet is located on the side, while side covers can be removed for storage of loose small items. The tailgate doesn't open very high, so anyone tall will have to be careful and duck to avoid injury. So that's our first drive of the new CX-5. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, hit us with a like, and I'll see you in the next one.